Just roll with it. Inkle dinkle do. Twitch. Oh, I should. I should do things. I don't care about that. Oh, intended for certain audiences. That's right. You're gonna. Okay. I think that's fine. I'm trying to be very, very quiet. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know. Camera still looks effed up. I don't want to fight with it right now. Let's see. I'm not gonna bother doing other things. Let's just. Where did I put the stylus? It's over here. Turn that speaker off. I don't really need you in here right now. Exciting pregame show. Okay. Did I actually hit the update button? Whoops. Now let's update. Okay. Now you go away. Put the chat somewhere I can see it. And so go away. VLC, screenshots, Nightbreed, red chin. There we go. Oh shit, I never fixed the monitor thing, did I? Shit. Oh, I'm doing background, which is a skull wall thing, a different scene. Should I try to change that now? It's not like anyone gives a shit. Properties. Nope, not that one. That one. There we go. That's all I had to do. That was it. Much easier. I think it's even got my face. Oh, friggin' spit on my tablet. Okay. Oh, it's hard to tell. Maybe I should try this. So I just put this over here. And blah, blah, blah. That should work, right? I probably won't keep my head there. Oh, it's a picture of Fleeto. That makes me sad. Right now. I want the stream chat to be closer so I don't have to keep cranking my head around. But it's fine the way it is. Come on, here we go. There we go. And you. Let's turn up the gamma on this a wee bit. There we go. Isn't that pretty? and we have our star here. This one, it looks like there's little monster skulls amidst, like, I don't know what that is, amidst the human skulls. And the human skulls, they like scowling as if their brows are malleable. So not actual human skulls, most likely. That one I think I will put up top. Good enough. And then maybe just put this in the corner here. All right, back to the show. I'm talking about as quietly as I can. We'll see. I haven't had any complaints from the neighbors yet. Oh God, my nose is huge. About noise, but that doesn't mean they're not hearing anything. Yay. Didn't somebody suggest that and sponsor maybe? I don't know. All right, let's work on this stupid skull background. I added some details here in the face to make it look a little more like muscles and less like a red blob. I might tinker with it a bit more, but okay. First, I want to add in these spaces here a little bit of sculliness. Or do I? I could just make it dark. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do that. Let me think. Why does she have a butterfly pin? Was there significance to that in the movie? I forget. I think maybe the best way to do this will be put a invert filter on there, maybe. Maybe. Maybe not. See, if I just make all of this black, oh, see, I'm thinking make it all black and then sort of add in the white, but maybe it would be better to do it all. Let me think. What if, and I don't know if I should use the same brush. Let's just try that. I'm concerned with consistency. I don't want sort of a scully, ivory skull look to it, maybe. Maybe it's better this way. It's not dark enough. Now that's the same color as her shirt. But maybe it'll look okay. I think what I need to do is... I'm making this so much more complicated. I think maybe not complicated enough. Do this. Hmm. Oh boy, are you fucking insane, Nacho Hooser? Do you leap into... I'm curious what this fucking bullshit is. Ah, okay. Fucking piece of garbage. No, I don't think so. Not really interested in AI right now. Oops. Sorry, you went to the wrong person. AI is... I can understand why people would be fascinated with the tools, but it's extremely inappropriate to do that, to just hop into an art channel and pull that bullshit. But it is just a tool like anything else, a tool that can be used, that can be misused. That was interesting, an interesting interaction. I don't know, I probably shouldn't have been quite so vulgar, but that person was a jerk. Now, what if... Nope, not on that layer. I guess that pissed me off more than I anticipated it would. I don't know, is that a troll? Seems like a troll. This is a hobby for me. I would probably be even angrier if this were my life. Yeah, but scraping information from artists without their permission is just flat up evil. That's just not cool. I think that is ultimately what makes me so upset. You're not using information from vetted and compensated resources. You're just grabbing whatever you want from the internet and calling it yours. That's not moral. That's not okay. I don't know how to prevent that from happening. I mean, I'm just reading about nightshade and glaze today, and those are interesting solutions. I guess I'm just gonna do it this way for now, just to start it out. Anyway, not something I really have to worry about, and I don't think I don't think it's something I'll ever really have to worry about. Can I bring this down a bit? And then just start. Oh, no. I wish. Let's see. Yeah. I forgot how difficult it is to juggle everything. No, that's not there. The quality of that still looks kind of garbage, but I guess it's okay. I don't know. What happens when I type something? Is it legible? I guess that's the only other thing that's kind of important. You can just read words. Yeah, that's pretty clear. Okay. Don't mind me. So let's see. Let's do that. Also, I don't think that piece of shit has ever seen Nightbreed, so fuck that guy. These aren't supposed to be specific anatomically perfect skulls. They're just angry, fuzzy background things. I should just toy with as I please. Oops. Oh, yeah, I should actually do that on top on a different layer, because if I want to erase like I just did, nope. There we go. Okay, let's just do this for a while. Good enough. Should this be? I can't tell if that's better. It's bugging me though. There we go. Off to a smashing start. Maybe I should do some warm up something first. I don't want to though. I just want to go. Maybe just redraw it 20 times and then I'll be warmed up. There we go, and then I can do that. Do you give the skulls cavities? That is the question. Why did that happen? Why that happened? Oh, why did that happen? That's weird. See, this is gonna blend in with lots of grays. At least that's the plan. It's like I've got a whole skull here you can't even see, but let's draw some of it at least. Maybe I can stick that in the corner. I cut and paste it. Hello, Dr. Demiology. Nice to see you again. Doop, doop, doop. All right, let's make this more thorough. Just adding a little background to the thing I was working on yesterday. Yeah, I'll put some in here. One of these days I will have a streaming schedule, but not today. And I'll be consistent and loved. People will love me. See, that I could probably stick over here instead of hiding behind this face. Let's try that. Reach this point where once you get a schedule, all your sycophants will be endlessly singing your praise. Just the idea of having any sycophants is beyond my comprehension. So we put you over here. Oh shit, is that going to be Oh, okay. Good. I was worried about the opacity, but hey, something like that. Yeah, maybe a little bit. Yes, once I get my shit together in any capacity, in any aspect of my life, then people will be singing my praises. I don't know. That's fine. And we'll just merge. Bring that back down. It was mildly interesting when I started streaming. You probably weren't here, Doctor. I don't know if this is something other streamers have been experiencing, but some random person showed up in my chat and said something like, "We can do this for you with AI," and had a link to a picture that was very, very similar to what I'm working on, but obviously much more polished and slick and in a completely different style. And that just really pissed me off, like, immediately, and I immediately banned them. I probably should have bantered with them some more, but that's kind of something I did not know was happening. Is people are popping up, at least in my web stream, and I don't know what if they were selling I banned them right away. If you're selling an AI service or something, or I don't know what is. What his angle was. But kind of interesting. I mean, considering what horrible low self-esteem I have towards my own work, the idea of somebody targeting me in any capacity for us is kind of silly. He's still not looking far enough the right direction. But I haven't been on Twitch a lot recently. I haven't been in any art streams lately. I mostly watched some of GDQ, and I watched Mario Maker 2 streamers. Usually I'll just like check in on an art streamer for like 5 minutes, kind of see what they're doing and just see what they're working on. But then I just wander off somewhere else. Oh yeah, I forgot. I had you. Yeah, there we go. I know AI in art is a pretty hot debate in art circles right now. And I am of the opinion that it is a tool that can be used well or can be misused. But the idea of scraping images from artists without compensating them, I consider that to be pretty evil. But I am not anti-AI in theory, just the way it's being done. Pay people for their work. And I don't know, I've never seen this argument made anywhere else, or this comparison. So maybe I'm full of shit. I mean, more than usual. I don't know, because I banned them right away, so I didn't really check to see if like they were earnestly trying to help in a twisted way, or if they were just spamming people to get a buck. I didn't investigate because I don't know, I was pissed off so fast. I didn't realize how angry it made me until it made me angry. And like my angry, I mean, you're seeing my angry is slightly more elevated than my normal. It probably does. They probably are harassing, and it probably should be reported. I don't know. I don't have the link that they sent, but probably it's on my stream if I rewinded, and I still have their username. I don't know. But yeah, as I was saying, I haven't heard the comparison made, but in my mind, it is extremely similar to in the 80s when rap was coming into prominence and they were just sampling whatever they felt like whenever they wanted, willy-nilly, sampling any songs they felt like. And it was a huge debate. It was mostly people said, well, you don't even have to write music anymore. You can just sample music from somebody else. You're not even trying. Like generate AI art, which I see in the art category. Oh, I haven't seen that. I haven't really, when it first came out, AI. Well, anyway, as I was saying, and in my mind, it seems like a very similar circumstance where somebody is creating a product on the back of a pre-existing product and they're not compensating the previous creator. And eventually they sorted out laws for what you can and can't sample and what is fair use and what is parody and all that shit. I don't know if those laws are perfect, but the music world kind of sort of locked it down. I think it all still results in whoever has the most money wins. And I can understand people who aren't invested in it, don't really care about the algorithms, don't really care about the source material. It's just a fun toy to play with. But if it's something, using AI to just make up whatever stupid shit comes into your brain or whatever clever shit comes into your brain. Why are the buttons not doing what the buttons are supposed to do? All right, having some technical difficulties here. Stop it. All right, there we go. But yeah, it just seems very similar to me to when sampling in rap songs became prominent in the 80s and early 90s, and just the debate that emerged and the reactions that people had, and maybe the resolution will be similar, maybe they'll come up with completely different. And now, since publishing is internet is the internet is so international, I don't know, it's if you come up with like strict copyright laws in the US, how is that going to affect some guy from Japan or whatever just scraping whatever he feels like? I don't know. I don't know enough about the details. I've just sort of a conversation I've been kind of sort of keeping my eye on a little bit. No litigation right now for AI artwork. Who's an individual artist who would be willing to fund that and push for it? I know there are lawsuits right now. Artists are, collectively suing the AI companies that write the software for scraping their artwork without their permission. I know that those lawsuits are active and happening. I don't remember the details of it, but that is their big concern. And I know the writer's strike that recently happened in Hollywood, they made it a big point in their negotiations that they couldn't use AI writers. Motion picture studios could not use AI writers for their productions. Why is this happening? I'm having technical problems and this pisses me off. All right, I'm going to close the software and open it up again. And see what that does. Maybe that will help. So actions are being taken. And just today I was reading, I don't know if the camera's on my face because it's really been a difficult thing to figure out. I'll look at the video later. What was I saying? Lawsuits, scraping. All right, are you gonna stop flipping out on me, please? Oh yeah, writers. It is on my face. Okay. Thank you. It's hard to test exactly where my head is going to be when I draw, and also monitor if it looks okay until I look at the video later. It's like, oh, when I draw, I actually tilt my head a lot further than when I'm doing a test. But I don't really care. Whatever. Oh, don't like this one. But yeah, so it's something Hollywood writers were concerned about. AI being just used by companies. And it's going to happen. People are going to do it whether you like it or not. But I've seen YouTube channels where people made really funny stuff with AI artwork or interesting stuff. And I don't know if I should. I don't know. It's an interesting conversation. I am obviously not. See, it doesn't. It looks more like this person is sitting on a chair of skulls than like it's a wall of skulls behind them. But I just don't want to draw everything. I'm depressed. I had a lousy day. I don't want to draw every friggin' skull. I don't know. Maybe I'll just do some of it now, and then later I'll add in some skulls in the corners. Come on, here we go. You can do it. So can we get rid of you right now and just work with this, maybe? Definitely don't need you anymore. I don't know. It's something as a hobbyist and just a guy who dicks around for the fun of it. Not really something I'm worried about. Oh yeah, I was Nightshade and Glaze are two programs that are, you're supposed to add them to your artwork. I assume when you save it as a JPEG or what have you, you run it through this program. And it will trick the algorithms, it'll trick the scrapers into seeing something completely different than what it actually is. And so let's see, why didn't that? Your artwork will not be scraped. And Nightshade takes that a little bit further and whoops. And it tries to trick, or maybe it does trick. It's something that like just came out today, I think. Programs into what they see is stored as a different prompt. So if somebody asks for a cow, it's going to look at this artwork that it thinks is a cow, but is actually a purse. I can't explain it well. But anyway, it's just trying to bust the whole system. And that's kind of an interesting tactic. Enjoy my time using Midjourney, but a lot of what I produce, especially if it's an existing IP, some of it is wild though. The newest Midjourney is so much more robust. You know, I think it's a really interesting tool. And you can come up with some really interesting stuff. And you can do it very quickly relative to actually creating a new piece of artwork. But just give credit where it's due. That's kind of my slant on it. Just I don't know. I don't know what's right, as it's often for me. Full blaze, but it could be my PC too. Oh, I don't know. I haven't tried glaze yet. Did not consider that it might be resource heavy. What happens when I look at the actual references? Because I am kind of trying to. When I initially decided to put the skulls in the background, I just thought, okay, how can I possibly do this in the least labor intensive way so I won't give up on it? And I'm not sure what I'm doing is that, but oh well, let's just try to have fun with it for a little bit. I don't know how to get these mid-tones the way I want them with this brush, with this. It's about AI pornography. Oh yeah. And concerned about the sourcing which algorithm created them from. Yeah, that's another thing that I haven't even looked into, but pornography of IP characters, pornography of, actual celebrities or non-celebrities. Put a picture of your ex-girlfriend and say, hey, generate an AI image of her doing horrible things. I think in that specific scenario, you could call it cyberbullying, but the impact it could have of like releasing a picture like that. Yeah, that's how much of it do you police? How much of it is creativity? This is, I'm having a hard time here. I don't know if this is the best way to do this. Show me her boobs, Google. Yeah. And looking further ahead, how is it going to affect how people ingest information? Considering that maybe half of what they see when the consumers become savvy enough to recognize that it's all, it's so easy to generate fake imagery. Well, not fake, but imagery that is not actual, that was created by AI or an AI prompt as opposed to generated by an artist or a camera. If you have people who grow up in that environment, I don't know, how is that going to affect what they I saw a meme today. One of my Facebook friends posted something, be like the Running Man, revenge porn. Yeah. And I don't I am under the impression, I've never tested this, but I am under the impression that the police, that authorities are absolutely in no shape to handle cyberbullying and revenge porn in general. I don't think they have the tools. I don't think they understand the impact. I don't think they care. But that's just my casual observation. I don't know. For example, if some 8th grade kid decides to start making horrible images of someone else they know and then posting it to all of their friends, that seems like actionable cyberbullying, but amassing evidence and prosecuting and assigning responsibility and all of that, not to mention just the legality of policing, sort of thing. I don't know. I just don't know. It's curious. It's weird. Again, I am not qualified to. This is. Be like The Running Man. The original short story or book, The Running Man, was vastly different from the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Did they like do another remake of that? Or were they planning to? Now I have to look this up. 2010 something happened? I don't think that's what. No, that's not it. For some reason I thought they were doing a remake. But the original story was much more the contestant could go anywhere on in the nation that they wanted when they were running and hiding. They weren't just bound to arenas or anything. They could go anywhere they wanted, and they were being hunted and killed. And if I remember correctly, eventually they hijacked a plane and flew the plane into the building of the producers or the TV channel that was created the show. All right, just slow down, dude. Trust the process. This one looks okay. Still kind of learning how to do different opacities with this brush and how to get things to look not too awful. This might be the way to do it. Just kind of build and subtract. Definitely noticed when I'm struggling with something, if I just tell myself to slow down, I don't even say to concentrate or focus or anything like that. Just slow down. And that seems to help with whatever the hell I'm doing. How does that look? I think that's kind of getting to where I want it to be. Concepts I liked in it, but it's a little too hammy for my taste. Yeah, the movie was very corny and very silly. And I think it was just making kind of superficial observations about future entertainment, generally about people wanting to watch other people suffer and die or something. I don't know. But you could definitely take that to an interesting level. I mean, I don't want to say it predicted reality television because I think televising live tragedies or manufactured tragedies is something that's been around as an idea for a while. And that's not what all reality television is. But, you know, when they started out with stuff like Survivor, well, let's watch these people suffer and see if they can handle it. Oh, yeah. Whatever. What are you doing to me? This, it looks a little incongruous with the face, the style, because I'm using all of this sort of opacity shading. I don't know what to call it, but maybe it'll work. I do. Oh, it's doing it again. Why are you doing that again? Stop doing that. I don't know what the problem is. It's really pissing me off. There we go. I am not going to restart my PC because buttons keep clicking that should not be. See, what have I been up to? I went to see a rock concert for the first time in maybe 20 years. And that was a lot of fun. The last time I remember going to a rock concert, it was the Foo Fighters opening up for the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Probably 20 years ago. And it was fun. It was good. But I just felt like this is a young man's game and I'm growing out of this. But I went to see what, Sunday? I went to see Explosions in the Sky, which they're not a band I listen to often, but I do like their music. And they definitely have a dynamic that I always felt like would be really cool to see live. And I felt like, well, I'm in a city now where there's just more access to live music and better live music. So why don't I just go to a concert and see if I like it? Oh, not protected by the Screen Actors Guild. That makes sense. That kind of sucks. There should be some kind of union or something for somewhere that a reality show contestant or player or voluntary, they I think it was called the Rialto Theater, and I think officially they hold 1,000 people. It really didn't look like it could hold 1,000 people though. Maybe more like 500, but I had my seat was pretty high up, but I still had a pretty great view. I took a bunch of pictures. I'll show you the pictures I took. I really enjoyed it. I thought they were a really great band. It's something, the sort of thing like if you like the band, you would enjoy it. But if you don't like the band or you don't have an opinion on the band, then you probably wouldn't care for it. Let's see. There we go. So this was the view that I had. Yeah, it's kind of funny. They had the fog machine going the entire time, and the way my camera captured it, it does look like it's actually an exploding stage. It's a pretty nice view. Here's the little zoom in. That one guy right in the front and center, even though they're an instrumental band, just one guy in the front and center was just rocking back and forth the entire time. It was kind of cool. And they had a nice little light show. Um, but yeah, it was just, I really enjoyed the show a lot. And it was something, I mean, you can see I was in the seated area. Down below the balcony, they had an open floor. This was before they started. This was them getting, but it was a very polite crowd, I want to say. You know, there wasn't any moshing or anything crazy going on. People were just politely listening and clapping and wooing between songs. And I think that in my old man age, that was exactly the kind of concert I needed to go to. I don't think I would have enjoyed something with like rowdy drunkards smashing into each other and screaming in your face. Let's just sit down, just watch the band play and enjoy the show. And it was really good. I've been looking, I haven't seen anything coming up soon that I want to go see that I'm familiar with, at least. Like, I saw there's like a rockabilly band that might be kind of interesting. Not really my scene, but just to get out and see something. Death Grips in Boston. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of want to see a metal show if it's a band that I like, but I don't want to just be stuck with a bunch of kids who are just drunk and stoned and just want to hurt each other or just be obnoxious. I want to sit down and watch the music and enjoy the show. I mean, it would be nice, a venue like that, the Rialto Theater. They've got the balcony where you can sit down. They've got the floor where you can, you know, for a more uh, volatile band, you could theoretically mosh or do whatever you wanted. I think that would be a good scenario if I did go see a metal band, is something where I personally could sit, and in some other section, people who wanted to party and jump around and stuff, they could do their thing. This doesn't look too awful. It doesn't look too good, but it doesn't look too awful. I'm having fun, so roll with that. Death Grips. I've never heard of Death Grips. I would love to see a math rock band, especially somebody like Delta Sleep. Oh man, if Delta Sleep came to town, I would be on that. I would be front and center. Maybe not front and center because I'd get tired, but like the closest balcony seat I could get. Designated old seating. Yes, this is where you've got your handicap seating and you're just old and tired seating. That's it. That's what I'm talking about. And I've been listening to Blonde Shell a lot lately. I've been listening to Blonde Shell's album. I guess it's a debut album, self-titled album. Obsessively lately, but they're not touring. They're like touring, but they're not coming around here anytime soon. They're like touring in Asia and Australia until August or something. But it's one of those things where the place in Maine where I lived, just there's these people just don't come to town. They have concerts and like they have a big place that like Elton John would come play, and a big place where Tool would play. But it was fairly limited how many concerts, and you wouldn't get a band like, well, maybe Explosions in the Sky, but just sort of a It's either like the huge bands that everybody wants to see or local bands that nobody's ever heard of and nothing in between. And I feel like, okay, now I'm living in a place where they have more venues, they have more concerts, they'll have mid-level bands that I enjoy. Maybe I should just actually start trying to go to live concerts. I have to listen to live concerts with earplugs in because it sounds like garbage without. You know, that's my old man speaking, my old man brain, but just. Oh, did I fuck up? I kind of fucked up a little bit, but it's okay. It's fine. I'm just going to merge those two layers and then I won't have to worry about if I'm working on the wrong layer. How does this look so far? I think I can do another layer of just really black. And that will really help it. I kind of want something down here maybe. So that was a fun thing that I did. Just went to see an old rock and roll concert. I don't know if you're familiar with Explosions in the Sky, but they've done a lot of soundtrack stuff. They're an instrumental band and they kind of specialize in just epic soundtrack, movie soundtrack or TV soundtrack sound. They did the soundtrack for the movie Friday Night Lights, which I've never seen, but that's their claim to fame. But just stuff that just starts out very quiet and just kind of builds and builds until it's just huge crescendo. Is that what I want? And it's just probably epic is the best word to describe it. Heard them before, but I bet I do know them by sound. Yeah, I think if you heard some of their songs, you might say, oh yeah, that I remember that's kind of, I've probably heard that in a movie somewhere. I think their most, I don't know, their best album, but their most known album is called The Earth Is Not a Cold Place, is not a dead cold place. Like that. Anyway, they're a pretty cool band, and I enjoyed watching them, and I enjoyed going to a concert for the first time in 20 years. So that was nice. That was a thing I did. This is, I don't think I've quite reached the point where I'm just making everything worse, but I feel like I'm nearing that. Slow down. Trust the process. I think so. I'm sure if I investigated, I could find out like exactly what tour it was where the Foo Fighters opened up for the Chili Peppers. And the first band was somebody called Bicycle Thieves, I think, that I had never heard of and never bothered to listen to because they unimpressed me so much. Oh yeah, and Explosions in the Sky had an opening band called Female Gaze that I could understand style wise why they were opening for them, but just really didn't do it for me. But the drummer looked like he was having a lot of fun. It just sounded like they wrote, well, what I posted was they sounded like they wrote a lot of intros and outros to songs, but they forgot to put the actual songs in the middle. That was my hot take on Female Gaze. All right, let's. I don't know. think of making it worse at this point. Danny Elfman and Johnny Mathis, the only people I really want to see live. Johnny Mathis could sneeze, and I think he'd kneel over. Johnny Mathis, I don't know. I mean, I know the name, but I don't know. Isn't he like 1 billion years old? How old is Johnny Mathis? '88. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if, like, I don't know how. Let's see. Mick Jagger age. He is 80, so, you know, people are touring in their 80s. I can't vouch for the quality of the product they're putting out. I don't know. I hear the name Johnny Mathis and it makes me think of like crooners like Paul Anka or something. I'm not really familiar. Johnny Mathis. But yeah, I mean, there are bands like I would have loved to have seen Soundgarden live. Christmas, he has a big discography. I think he's one of the better crooners of the 50s. Okay. Not really an avenue I have explored. I kind of like doo-wop from that era. I think some of that is cool. But I don't think crooners really is something I've been especially interested in, but is there such a thing as a modern day crooner, as a 2000s era crooner? Does that exist? Maybe. I'm like completely clueless to a lot of modern pop music or whatever. I have a list in my head of modern music that I have never heard, but I know all of these artists. I should write it down. Let's see. Artists like I've never heard a Kanye West song. I've never heard let's see. I think Puff Daddy was on the list. I think I've heard Taylor Swift songs incidentally, but I couldn't point out a Taylor Swift song to you. I saw Katy Perry do the Super Bowl, but I've never heard any other of her songs otherwise before or after. There's just all these pop stars I keep hearing about and reading about. And I know all about their celebrity shenanigans, but I've just never actually heard their music and have no interest in hearing their music. I know there's a lot more. There's like 20 of them that I had a list of. Just people I'd never actually heard. Oh, yeah. And if I did make a physical list, if I did write down a list, I would definitely add Kim Kardashian to there. And then people were like, Kim Kardashian doesn't do music. And that would be the joke, is that I don't even know. But anyway, crooners aren't really a thing. Sentimental ballads just do not sell. Longing for the past. Mainstream music from the 30s, 50s is so boring. Yeah, it's definitely from a bygone era. I don't know if this is something crooners really did, but I think in general, just sort of the metaphors and sort of hinting or dancing around things, particularly saucy things or sexual things, but not actually being very explicit about it, but doing it in an artful and craftful way. I don't know that that happens anymore. Or I shouldn't say that. What I should say is that's something I feel is kind of a lost art. I appreciate it and I enjoy it. Not like brothel music from the 1910s. That I am definitely not familiar with. Probably what I'm ultimately saying is I like things that are done well. And I'm not being as discerning as I think I am. I did have that conversation, or a conversation with somebody once who tried to say, oh, they don't make movies like the 80s anymore, or whatever he said. Just some dumb kid. Like, movies just aren't as good as they used to. And then I had to explain to them, well, the movies that you're seeing from the 80s, from the 90s, are the movies that have survived, that people remember because they're great. But back then, they were churning out just as much crap as they are today. You just don't hear or see that crap. So it gives the mistaken impression that everything from that era was good, because that's the only stuff that people are bothering to remember. I keep thinking, all right, I need to just add a darker black layer. And then I keep not doing it. All right, just straight up black. This mamby-pamby shit. This is black. And then, is that going to even show up? Does that even make a difference? Not really. Oh, well. I'm having fun screwing around. That's what's important. That looks okay. I mean, it looks like it's a completely different style. That skull looks tiny compared to all of the other ones. I don't like that. Actually, how stories were poems or songs before fiction became more casual. You can say a lot more on the radio now, and listeners expect you to be more raw. Mainstream media was still being heavily influenced by vaudeville, which plays part, I think. I don't know. I think I became more casual. I think I kind of know what you're saying. I think, did I lose my mic? No, I didn't. I hit the cord. I feel like there's a few different ideas swirling around what you're saying. But I definitely think we're kind of in an era where people just throw whatever they can at the wall and see what sticks. And you don't quite have the same kind of gatekeepers as far as like producers that you did. They're still there, but just whatever sells is what they pour their money into. Trains aren't a thing anymore, and we're replaced with more relatable musicians. Yeah, I think, I'm not sure if this is similar, but you could point at like the acting shift in movies from traditional acting to method acting. And I don't exactly know the rules and, differences between one or the other, but it's something where like you can tell, the very different kind of performances that you're getting if it's a traditional actor or more method. I think Marlon Brando was the one who really brought method acting into the mainstream. And it's more casual, it's more relatable, and it's less performative. I think that's the word I'm trying to get around to, is performance and performative. Yeah, and it's less about standing in front of a crowd and putting on a performance, and more about trying to create a product that maybe seems more real or more realistic or lifelike. You know, sort of the difference between somebody like a Cary Grant. You know, he would have very traditional acting, and I don't know who's a modern star, like a George Clooney or something. And I think that had to do with sort of motion pictures originating, or actors originating from stage plays and needing to perform to the back rows and have very big reactions, and or things that were broad and carried through so that everybody could hear and see them. Then the transition to people realizing, hey, with these cameras and these microphones, we don't have to play to the back row. We can be quiet. We can be subtle. We don't have to perform for 100 people. We can just do something very small and quiet for the camera. I'm trying to refuse to watch movies before the 2000s because if the acting didn't, I assume you meant wasn't good till then. Everything before then is bad to them. That's a very specific cutoff point. I would have thought if acting is the issue for them, I would have thought maybe like the 70s would be a more appropriate cutoff point, when like all the traditional actors were gone and you know, everything was method acting at that point. I think you could probably say the 70s is when that was true. I mean, I know people who don't like to watch older movies just because they don't like things in black and white, or they just don't like things where the quality of the film looks bad to them. But I haven't heard that about specifically acting. I mean, I'm sure there are acting trends that I don't know enough about it to be there. I don't want to work on this anymore. I think it looks okay. I think I kind of accomplished what I wanted to. How does it look when I crop it? That is what I do this with everything I draw. I put this magenta square just to give me an idea of where the crop is going to be, where the borders are going to be. That light is reflecting the thing. It's just become a habit now, just to get an idea of where the borders are probably going to be when I crop it. Not too bad. The color is still distinct from the background, even though they're the same color. But I'm not going to do a final export at this exact moment. Let's do something else. Let's see. That's all the opinion that movies objectify or objectively get better over time, so there's no point of watching older movies. Oh, I hate that. I think that's that is a very narrow and limited view of art. I'm not sure even how to respond to that. I feel like I should have a response. Do I have any things that I wanted to work on? Oh, I do have this. Well, I don't have this, but I was watching an old cartoon from the 80s called Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends that I remember watching when I was a kid. And this was a frame from that cartoon that I just thought, this is so amazingly bad. Just the perspective and the entire concept of Spider-Man driving in a car to get away from killer bees, but just the physical space that all of these things exist in and the angle of it's just so completely impossible. It just kind of blows me away. Like, this seat is the same size as this seat, and sort of the side is going in one direction, but the seats are going in another direction, and the shaft of the steering wheel is coming from who knows where that's coming from. And we're somehow at a camera angle where you can see underneath his feet him pressing down the pedal. And this stick shift, which is like 100 miles away from everything else. It's just kind of an amazing picture where technically you included all the information that you wanted to, but realistically, it doesn't make any sense. It feels like everything was drawn individually, and then they just kind of smashed them, mushed them together for one scene. I don't know. I just thought that was an amazing picture from a really crappy cartoon. I watched one episode of it and I thought, yeah, that's garbage. And garbage I remember distinctly as a child thinking it was awesome. Oh, here's a picture I started working on. I don't know if I'll ever finish it. Let's see. Let me find it. This is a scene from a movie called Ida. It is a movie. I don't know. Should I try to work on this? I don't know. It was a pretty good movie. Very dark. Visually, it was actually in black and white. Where the hell are the references? Oh, there. Was it Polish? I want to say it was a Polish movie. Poland, yes. Poland. Um, I don't know. Maybe not. Actually, this is kind of similar in theme to the previous work. Spring cartoon that I think was running when I was a kid was the one with Miles. Donald Glover. Yeah, when they first, I don't know if it was first, but there was some point where people were really excited about the idea of Donald Glover as Spider-Man, and not as Miles Spider-Man, but as Peter Parker's Spider-Man. When Donald Glover was that age, early 20s, and they were talking about a Spider-Man movie. It might have been Amazing Spider-Man. I don't think it was the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and I think it was before Miles was even created. I don't know when exactly Miles was created in the comics. I don't need you, and I don't need you. I need you, and I don't need you. But it's kind of interesting. It's kind of cool that Donald Glover actually, in one form or another, became a Spider-Man. Good for him. These are all old things. What the hell is that? Oh. Blah, blah. I don't know what I want to do. When was Miles Morales created? 2011. Okay, so this must have been. But yeah, and I remember Stan Lee piping up that he wasn't really sure, or just didn't think there should be a black Peter Parker. And I think that ruffled some feathers. And I think he was kind of, I shouldn't speak for him, but here I go. Probably thinking purely on an artistic and superficial level of having a recognizable character. Maybe I should, and not really thinking of the cultural impact of, being colorblind when casting. Speaking for the dead. I started reading an article about Stan Lee's death. And apparently, like the last few months of his life were really, really brutal because people were taking advantage of him, and just it was really gross. I don't think I could read the whole article, but it was unfortunate. I'm thinking of taking like maybe one of my old pictures, and it might get. Oh, when I moved, the hardest thing about moving across the country is I had to give up my cats, and that made me very, very sad. I am still quite sad about it, but they are in a loving home, and that is nice. I had some friends. Oh yeah, I have a bunch of pictures on my laptop that I haven't put. But I had some friends I hadn't spoken to for a few years, and when I was trying to find someone to watch my cats, they stepped up. And then when I reached a point where I knew I wouldn't be able to bring my cats with me, they yeah. No, that's okay. There's another family has adopted them. They're friends of mine. They're super nice family. They have a lot of space. She sent me pictures of Lido cuddling with her daughter, Willow, and I would show you, but I will start bawling if I do that. Now I'm just digging through old pictures, just trying to find something interesting to draw. I probably should share, but um, so I'll just keep talking. But yeah, I couldn't afford to bring them across country, and the place where I'm living now is like a $200 deposit and then an extra $60 a month to have two cats, which is just more than I can afford. And so my cats, they're staying with my friends, and she gives me updates about how they're doing and how the family, how they're reacting with the family and stuff. I'm just gonna, I don't know what to draw, so I'll just start making stupid loops and things and just start drawing random shit. And honestly, I think that they are happier where they are now than they ever were with me. At least Lido. I think Miet has been having a harder time adapting. But Lido is, I think, really right away just bonded with the family, and I think is very happy. Maybe at some point down the line I will adopt a cat again, but this apartment is about half the size of my old apartment. It costs more money to have a pet, and my money is stretched a little thin right now. Here, let's, I don't know. Boop, boop, boop. I guess most of the time Miette was hiding in a closet for like a month. And her daughter Willow, which is maybe 10 or 11 or so, safe environment and taken care of. Yes, I'm very happy for that. I was worried I would have to pay to put them. This sucks. To put them in like some boarding house for cats. And then if I couldn't take them with me, I would have to like put them up in a, you know, a humane society or some animal shelter and just hope somebody nice adopted them. But I actually found, you know, my friends hadn't spoken to them for years, but they're super nice people. And, you know, it's a husband and wife and their 2 kids. And I don't know what it was. They're in a really good home, and that's one of the things I was very, very lucky that happened. It could have been so much worse. And yeah. I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, that was easily emotionally the hardest thing about moving. And the biggest sacrifice. But just what had to happen. And I feel pretty bad about it. But they're doing fine. That's where they are. They're with a really nice family and they're taken care of very well. They love them. They give them treats and they have a nice, they just moved into a new house when they adopted them, and it's a nice big house. They already have another, they had another cat, have another cat. So the children are used to being in a home with a cat. I don't know. I feel like I've belabored the point enough. Maybe it'd be a spaceship or a monster or something. I don't know. But I do miss them. I just, the other day, I was just walking and I just kind of ran into my slippers. It was dark and I kicked my slippers and I just felt this fuzzy thing. And I thought I accidentally kicked one of my cats. And then I realized I don't have cats anymore. That happens a few times. I'll hear a noise or I'll see something out of the corner of my eye and then realize, no, I don't have cats anymore. And it makes me sad. And the other sacrifice, not nearly as emotional, but I'm pretty bummed about, is I no longer have my own washer and dryer. I tried to hang on to that as long as I could, but I just, for the prices, for my price range, I just could not find anywhere that had washer and dryer in unit. I hate, they have a laundry facility, so I'm not going to like a public laundromat. It's a facility for the whole apartment complex, and that's a little bit better. But I hate using the laundromat, using a community washer and dryer. Oh, it sucks so bad. But I'm too poor right now. Maybe forever. This sucks. I don't know what I'm doing. Take your stuff out of the laundromat. Here, all the dead bed bugs. Ugh, ugh. Well, like I said, where I am now, they have a laundry facility, and this probably apartment complex has hundreds of people. It's okay. Something specific is happening that is causing this button to be pushed out of the, yeah, take it out of your stuff out of the washer and dryer. I've never had that problem in the times that I've had to use laundromats, but I can see how much it would suck. And or maybe just because I don't have anything of value that anyone would want to steal. Pressure on your tablet aside from here. I think what the issue is, I've had this problem before. I have some sort of shortcuts because a lot of the shortcuts I'm using, I programmed the actual shortcuts. I didn't program the function, but the shortcuts. And I think there's some kind of conflict happening. For example, if the letter E is eraser, and if you press, I can't remember specifically, so I'm making up an example. If pressing down an E gives you an eraser, and pressing the control gives you a color picker, for example. So here I've got my eraser, and here I've got my color picker. So I have these two independent, shortcuts, these buttons, but somewhere there's a shortcut for something completely different that is Control plus E, and it does something like, I don't know, converts all the pixels into a different dimension, whatever the hell. And sometimes I am holding down the E button for erase and the control button for color picker at the same time, and it's creating this third shortcut, and I don't know what that conflict is. I can't figure it out yet, and I don't know what it's creating. I don't know what two buttons I'm hitting that are creating the third shortcut and how that's creating some sort of conflict. That's my suspicion, and that is something that could take like an hour of dicking around to figure out what the hell is going on. So yeah, I don't think it's a tablet pressure thing. That's a good point, a good avenue, but my experience with this specific thing is that there are two buttons being pressed that are creating some sort of conflict or some kind of shortcut that's just fucking everything up. Because the specific problem I'm having is I have a button here to rotate, and it's getting stuck, so it wants to rotate when I'm not pressing the button. Yeah, clipping each other, that's a good way to put it. And the question is going to be, is it happening often enough? And is it going to be enough of a problem that I need to spend hours trying to figure out what it is and resolving it? And it's reaching that point. I don't know what you are. Maybe like an alien head, a xenomorph, chest burster type of head, maybe. I don't know. But for now, I'm just going to complain. A part of me thinks I should just draw everything in black and white. I just should stop bothering trying to do color, because I like it better. I think it looks cooler. I think I'm better at just doing things in black and white. but I know there are people that just, if it's not in color, they just don't like it, period. And I don't like the idea of somebody else coloring my work, even though they might be better at it. I would rather just learn it myself. Okay, this is, I don't know what this is. I made it hard. Yeah, first I'll have to explain to John the changes that I've made, all these shortcuts that I've added, and all the modifications I've already done because of previous conflicts or clippings, previous clips. Tell him what software I'm using, tell him what hardware I'm using. I dread contacting somebody with computer technical difficulties when the point has been reached where I can't find the solution on the internet. I can't figure it out myself. And I have to contact a professional. And I dread having to go through all of the initial steps that they must go through because they don't know how much I know. They don't know if they can trust me. So you just have to go this. Did you turn it on and off again? Did you update your drivers? Did you blah, 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 blah. And just spending that 20 to 30 minutes of going through stuff. And I don't know, maybe I did fuck up. Maybe I didn't update the drivers, even though I'm pretty sure I updated them 5 times and nothing changed. My colorist friend, it was weird watching him color ink that in my mind looked finished, but I grew up with manga. Yeah, it is something I've noticed on Twitch a bit, is watching a piece of work that it looks pretty polished to me, and then people continue to work on it for quite a while, and it changes, and maybe, but the essence of what it is, Spider-Man leaping over a building or whatever, is it's still there, but the subtleties of it change, but not a lot to the naked eye. And it kind of feels like, well, you could have stopped 2 hours ago and it looks just as good to me as what you have now, but I kind of understand why you put in all of this extra work and how it looks differently. I don't know. A lot of that is tied to my own insecurities about art and investing my time and energy in something. A lot of times I will see pencil sketches that I think look awesome, and then when I see the finished inked and colored artwork, it just doesn't look as interesting to me. But I know that's what sells, and that's what everybody else wants to look at. I don't know what this is. This is kind of a mess here. Let's try to turn this into something more tangible. I like the idea of it being like the grill of a car, but with shading so it kind of looks like a gaping maw. Yeah, I don't know. And I think also I like just trying to improve and be better. So that's another reason I keep kind of digging into doing color. Too big. What if so 2011, that would have been, I think, Amazing Spider-Man. My mind is, it's kind of interesting looking back at some of the videos of my streaming and realizing just how chaotic my thoughts are, and just how much everything bounces back and forth and is non-linear, the way I just jump around from one subject to the other. I mean, I knew ADHD brain, and I knew or know that I have wandering and scattered thoughts. But when I actually hear them vocalized, it kind of astounds me. And you just, I want to say you, and I probably mean I, don't really realize how much continental drift is happening and how many threads are left, are abandoned as you move on to new things. Probably Amazing Miles with Spider-Man I was most familiar with, other than Sam Raimi Spider-Mans. Yeah, when did Amazing come out? 2012. Okay. So yeah, probably. Let's see. Let me do internet searches that you can't see. Oh, gotta think about that one. '83. So in 2003, Donald Glover would have been 20. So maybe it was the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans when they were talking about. Shit. Oh, that was my alarm. Sorry. When they were talking about Donald Glover and they cast Tobey Maguire. I don't know. I just don't know. I thought it was interesting when I always thought that the Amazing Spider-Mans were reviled with Andrew Garfield. Whoa, no, that's not what I want. I thought they were fine, but I just got the impression that in general people didn't like them. But when I saw the latest Spider-Man, let's see, Far From Home, Nowhere Home, Me Home, whatever the last Spider-Man with Doctor Strange was, I saw that in the theater, and I did see Spider-Man first movies. I want to finish this. I saw that one in the theater, and when Andrew Garfield showed up, people in the theater clapped, which kind of surprised me. I thought he was fine, and I thought those movies were fine. They weren't spectacular. But apparently he had a fan base. Spider-Verse movies. I liked the first Spider-Verse movie. The second Spider-Verse movie was absolute garbage, and I could barely stand it. There's my quick review. Yeah, people clapped when Andrew Garfield showed up in the latest live action Spidey movie. I am not lying. Maybe those were the only 3 people in the world who loved him that much. I don't know. The first Spider-Verse movie, it had a lot more heart than it had any right to. And it was kind of interesting how audiences have been primed in crazy sci-fi concepts to the point where you can make a movie about multiple universes or multiverses, and there's an audience for it. There's a mainstream audience that can understand it and can gobble it up. The second Spider-Verse movie, they just crammed in so much filler. They just crammed in so much shit. And there really didn't seem to be a whole lot of story going on. They just wanted to just cram in as many IPs, as many different versions, not in a bigger and better way, but just in a how bloated can we make this corpse way. And it was so awful. It was very disappointing to me how bad it was. And that's my strong opinion. And also there was this kind of fucked up undertone that destiny makes it okay for horrible things to happen. And I found that extremely disturbing. By people clapping at the AMC theater for Andrew Garfield. Yeah, he's a perfectly fine actor. But I wouldn't call him beloved. But apparently he is. But the idea in the Spider-Verse movie, the second Spider-Verse movie, that Uncle Ben or some horrible tragedy must happen to a Spider-Man in order for the Spider-Man to become a hero, does not sit well with me. It's kind of this sort of destiny idea of letting terrible things happen so that later down the line it will inform somebody's life or actions. And I don't like that. I don't like the idea of letting the terrible things happen. Absolute extreme of adversity builds character. It is. And then not just making it as a point, but making it the centerpiece of the morality of your movie is irresponsible to me. I think, I don't know, that was an undertone, an undercurrent of that movie that really upset me. Normally with stupid things like that, I can just look at it as fiction. And I guess I kind of did here too. And just, oh yeah, that's just shitty idealism from people who live very bizarre, sheltered lives. Or live very specific lives that are not very relevant to the life that I live. For example, John Wayne has made a lot of really fun movies, but any John Wayne movie, you have to bear in mind, okay, these are all super duper racist, manifest destiny garbage. And the morality behind these Western movies is horrific, basically amounting to, a white man shall lead them. But if you can acknowledge that and accept that this, morality behind this tale is stupid, then you can just enjoy, this homesteader trying to find his daughter and going on a journey to do so, or, fighting off train robbers or whatever, and just kind of enjoy it for that aspect. But I don't want to be dismissive of the horrific things, but I want to acknowledge them and still try to derive some value out of cinema. I've thought about this a lot. This looks like a very convoluted gas nozzle. Oops. Not sure I like what's happening here. Maybe we should just get rid of that. I don't know what I'm doing. Just adding lines. But if in any real world situation, somebody said to me, okay, you have to let John die so that Joe learns his lesson, I would say you are insane. That is not okay to think that as a human. Or maybe I should have said, you have to let Ben die so that Peter can learn his lesson. Or you have to let Gwen Stacy die so Peter can learn to be a hero. No, that's not okay. It's not okay to think that. Maybe in hindsight, you could say it was a pivotal moment, but you can't assume ahead of time that a greater good is being accomplished by allowing this tragedy to happen. That is effed up. But I have a theory. I know I've expressed this before, and I will express it again, that a lot of Hollywood types, directors and writers especially, achieving the level of success so they're making Spider-Man movies or Marvel movies or Jurassic Park movies or whatever, they're pretty much at the top of the game. Probably believe in destiny because it happened to them. Whatever they've gone through, whatever adversity they've been through, and they reached this pinnacle of, pretty much the top of their career, a very high point. And so they assume that's how it is for everybody. And if everybody does whatever the hell they did, then destiny will take them to these highs, and they do not understand or appreciate the absurd degree that luck has in their success. And so they just preach this destiny narrative because they think that's what worked for them, and that's why they're where they are, because of destiny. Oh, we watched Moonwalker. Ooh, I know what you did. It's a very uncomfortable film. I don't know. Oops. I don't know what happened to you, but anytime I hear anything Michael Jackson, I saw something and people were doing the Thriller dance and playing Thriller music, and anything Michael Jackson related, I just kind of think, do you really want to add this pedophile's music to whatever soundtrack you're creating? Is is the music so good that you don't mind that a pedophile made it? I don't know. And you could get into the argument of whether or not he actually was, but I have seen enough to feel like there really shouldn't be a discussion. He was a horrific monster that did many appropriate things with children, and his music should not be lauded no matter how good it was. But I haven't watched Moonwalker for a while. I remember it had some cool parts and some stupid parts. And I always liked the song Smooth Criminal. Not a Michael Jackson fan, but that would be my favorite Michael Jackson song. But of course now I wouldn't be able to listen to it. But yeah, his obsession, even publicly, with children is pretty gross. But then you could look at somebody. I don't know. I was about to go off on a diatribe that could be mistaken for aligning with a very questionable political stance that I do not hold. Anyway. Nah, that's dumb. Maybe. But will always be the argument of where do you separate the art from the artist, and at what point, and that line is different for everybody, what people are willing to accept and allow. My big issue, one thing that really upsets me that nobody or very few people seem to give a shit about, is Kobe Bryant, who in my mind was and always will be a racist, not a racist, probably was racist, but always be a rapist. But he whitewashed his career to the point where people laud him and love him. And it just repulses me. I had the film as a kid, wanted to rewatch it, but it was just so bizarre. He turns into Gundam in a spaceship and rescues orphans. Yeah, I remember Joe Pesci was in that too. And it wasn't really a movie as much as just a bunch of music videos kind of smushed together, and some of them had longer parts that weren't actually musical. That might be worth a rewatch. I don't know. I rewatched Mr. Show recently, and that is something I watched that so many times in my 20s. Mr. Show with Bob and David. Oh yeah, I had an idea here. Boop, boop, boop. And I don't know that I loved it, but it just became a fabric of my existence because I watched it so many times. And I rewatched it for the first time in maybe in maybe a decade. And there's still some really funny stuff in there, but one of the actors in Mr. Show was one of the terrorists that stormed the Capitol whenever the hell ago. And it kind of just, every time that actor would show up in a sketch or something, it's like, oh, this sketch is really funny and I like it, but now I know that person is human garbage, and that kind of makes everything about this, it makes me uncomfortable and it makes me squirm. Yeah, Jake Johnston or something. He's got some weird generic name like that. But yeah, he's actually, there are photos of him in the Capitol building during the riots. And he's done other stuff, but that was Jay Johnston. That's his name, Jay Johnston. Yeah. I read some comments from like David Cross saying that he was never political. Jay Johnston was never political, but he kind of fell into the wrong crowd and just started really buying into this men's right bullshit. I don't really know. But it's just one of those things where watching the old stuff that you enjoyed, that was cool or interesting or whatever, and now today, oh, that makes me uncomfortable, and I wish he wasn't human garbage. That taints my enjoyment of this product, especially something that is a collaborative effort like film or TV or whatever. What did I do? Sure, let's do that. I'm getting cold. I don't like being cold. One of my favorite headlines ever from when I lived in Maine is there was one person from Maine who was on trial or being accused or what have you of being a part of the Capitol riots. I don't know if there's an official name for it. And the headline was, let's say his name was John Smith. The headline was, John Smith known to be racist but not violent. It's an album called Love Symbol, which is dedicated to then wife. It's my favorite Prince album. And then I realized she was 16 while it was being made. Yeah, that stuff is just. And like The Professional, the movie, or Leon, is I really like that movie. And then I found out like the director was dating a young teenager at the time, and it kind of turns this sort of father-daughter relationship in the movie, and it just makes it like possibly sick. And I really love that movie, but I think Luc Besson is possibly a horrible person. I didn't know that about Prince, but yeah, that's kind of. I don't know. I don't get the whole. I know I must be wired that way. I don't get the whole pedo thing. I don't get. I guess that's what the whole Jeffrey Epstein to do thing is about, is just this circle of mega rich pedophiles. I don't get it. I don't understand why people. Maybe I'm just like more asexual than I realize or am willing to admit. I don't know. Because I'm not sexually interested in prepubescent people. I don't know. I'm gonna stop talking about things or I'll morph into Ken Lanning. I don't know who Ken Lanning is, but I appreciate the sentiment. Sometimes I will just hear whispers of a horrible thing about a person, and I will deliberately say, I'm not going to investigate what that is. I just don't want to know. Consultant in the area of crimes against children. Oh. Special agent with the FBI for 30 years. Satanic ritual child abuse? All right. Yeah, that looks pretty awful. Question. Answer. Yes, do you have a question for me? A Human 3? That was, I'm sorry, I even attempted to say that. A man? I would love to hear your question and possibly answer it. I'm just dicking around. Oh, there it goes again. Unrotate. The buttons are not doing what I want them to do. If I'm using the door and you tell me to use the other door, which door do I use? But you said use the other door. Well, I think that's important. It's important to establish which is the main door before you decide which is the other door. So those are terms. What the terms that need to be clarified? I can't tell you right now. What is happening? All right, I'm extreme technical difficulties right now. But yeah, I think if you have questions in that regard, then you need to clarify with the person. If you're just seeing a sign that says please use other door, generally that sign is on a door, so you know the door that the sign is on is not the other door. And if you can't tell, if you can't decide, then you're just going to have to wing it. You're just going to have to infer if there are 3 doors. That is a great question. All right. I don't know why this keeps... Oh, it's still broken. What is the problem? There we go. Finally. Oh, no. Maybe I do need to just restart my computer, but I don't want to. I think you would need more context other than 3 doors and a nebulous voice saying, please use other door. I have considered, sometimes people in chat will ask, what should I call you? Should I call you please use the other door? Should I call you door? What should I call you? And I will say, you can just call me door, or you can call me other door. And I like the implication that if I am the one who is other door, then the statement is, please use me. I am other door, please use other door. I think that's funny. But yeah, out of context, just telling me there's 3 doors and you want to know which one is the other door, I don't have enough information. I'm really sorry. 3, I am assuming identical doors. I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, you obviously have the first example that comes to mind is from the movie It, where there are 3 doors. One says, I forget exactly, like scary, not scary, and really not scary, or whatever the hell they say. I don't like that. Let's make it more. Dumb. I suck at my hobby. But I appreciate you bringing the question to my attention. I'm sorry I can't come up with a solid answer for you. Here we go. How about, let me try this. I hope you aren't actually faced with several doors at this exact moment and you need to know right now which door to use. I hope that's not what is happening. To get an answer. What if somebody asks again? The only thing that is important is that when you do see a sign that says, please use other door, you think of me. That's the important part that we need to, that I'm concerned about. I don't care which door you use. I just want you to think about my shitty Twitch streams and my shitty art whenever you see the phrase, please use other door. And if you look, those signs are everywhere in some form or another. If you walk down a city street, walk down a downtown or something, chances are really good you're going to see 20 please use the other door signs. That is the moral of this story. Sometimes it's nice to just make a big mess and then just cut pieces out of it and just draw that way. I don't really know. Sometimes no one. I should probably call it a night soon. I'm just, I don't know. I guess I'm having fun, even though I question the value of what I'm doing. I find it mildly interesting that when I would American Emergency Services will transfer calls to non-affiliate streamers to get them to 3 viewers. Okay then. If I have 3 viewers at a time, that's usually a pretty amazing stream for me. What was I gonna? Oh yeah. Yeah, I would follow some streamers, and usually when there's a follow, they say, "Oh, thank you for following," and a lot of people will put a the into my name. Please use the other door, despite the fact that there's no the in there, and I found that interesting that the whatever is going on in somebody's brain. I know there's a certain aspect of reading that is anticipatory and comprehension and what have you. I think it happened more often with European or people outside of the US. I'm wondering if they just don't have that common signage that specifically says please use other door, and so they didn't really, it didn't register to them the same way, but I could be wrong on that. But yeah, human brains are very mushy, and what you think you see and what you believe, what information you think is coming in may not be what is actually happening. You can't trust anybody or anything or any information ever. It's all unreliable. That's the moral of that story. Trust no one or no thing or nothing. That's the conclusion, right? The natural conclusion. It's kind of fascinating. There's something called the McGurk effect. It is a known effect. Just the way that brains acknowledge information is there can be a sound, a language sound. Anybody except me, especially with their finances and valuables. Yeah, that's right. For example, if you were saying the letter P, pa, pa, and then you isolate that sound and you play a video, or you make two videos. In one of the videos, you have somebody's mouth making the pa sound, pa, pa, pa. And in another video, you have them using a different, as if they're saying the T sound, ta, ta, ta. And when you view the same exact audio, but you're looking at somebody making the T sound instead of the P sound, your brain will interpret it as the sound T, ta, ta. And it's just, you can try to fight it in knowing that it's going to happen. It's, I got to figure out what this problem is, why this is happening. But it's just the way that your brain interprets information that you just can't escape. I find that very fascinating. I don't know. I know I watched a video on it. Maybe I can find something. Oh, definitely. Like, there. I think I just, whatever. Oh, that was it right there. Auditory illusion. Yeah, there's definitely something buggy going on with everything right now. I think I'm going to have to stop. But I want to link to this first. There we go. It's a video about the McGurk effect. And a lot of people don't realize how much information that they are receiving is a result of their brain interpreting information more so than what specific information is. Save this. And yeah, I just need to restart my computer. And I think this is the end of the stream. Thank you for watching. Here, do I have anything else interesting that I can show before I bail? No. This was an idea I had. I couldn't find a shower curtain pattern that I liked, so I thought I'll just design my own shower curtain. Yeah, it's good morning. It's 2:30 here. And this was just an initial color proof of concept. I think I still would like to make this at some point. I don't think I can make a shower curtain print with the same colors I'd like, but I don't know, just something to share before I take off. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for not watching. I will see you folks at some point in the distant future. Good night.